Hi everyone. Good morning from Singapore. Hope you're having a lovely day and certainly happy Global Hand Washing Day. As Mix introduced me, I'm based in Singapore. I'm a principal scientist and I've been studying soap and how to protect us with the best hygiene practices. And of course, today it's important to think about and revisit what is the best way to keep ourselves protected from germs, protected from the COVID virus and anything else that can cause illnesses. Now, I want to start with a question. So if you're on Facebook, calling in through the Manila Water Foundation page, I'd like to ask you a quiz and feel free to post your answers on the page, okay? Of all the things that you see right now on the screen, which of these is the biggest cause of germ infection? Is it money? Is it sneezing, which can be very nasty and the germ particles can travel very far, up to 40 feet? Is it bus handles, which a lot of people touch, but they're not often cleaned? Is it coughing? Again, like sneezing, spreads a lot of germs. Toilet flush, not often cleaned in a public space. Or the kitchen sponge? Which is the biggest cause of germ infection? Okay, I see an answer for money. Anything else? That's a good one. Money also, you never see people actually put it in a washing machine, that's for sure. Yes, sneezing is a good candidate. It could be coughing. I see a good variety of answers, very conceivable, especially if the person is sick. A kitchen sponge, yes. Studies have been done to show that the kitchen sponge actually can have more germs than even the toilet seat. Yeah, very, very good. Democratic answer, all. We certainly should be cautious around all of these actions or objects or surfaces. I have to confess though, that this is a little bit of a trick question. I asked which is the biggest cause of germ infection, not which is the most germy surface. Okay? The biggest cause of germ infection is really your hands. Your hands are the primary way, the main way by which the germs from any of these sources get into your body. Why? Because without realizing it, even right now as you're watching this, you might be thinking, you might be scratching near your eye, you might be doing something by which the germs make the leap into your body and therefore infect you. Your hands are the number one means of germ transfer. So obviously, what can we do about this? Fun little animation there. Well, obviously, we all know, because of the celebration today, the secret is to wash our hands. Now, you've all heard we should wash our hands for 20 seconds. But what's so magical about the 20-second number? Well, I want to show you a little experiment that was done, and you could do this yourself actually. I've got the special lotion here that they use in this picture. And when I shine this UV light on the lotion and I put it on my hands, it will actually show up like what you see in this picture over here, these ladies' hands. It's not actual germs, but it behaves like germs because it's quite sticky on your hands, and to get it off, you have to wash your hands in the right way. So the picture you're seeing now is after this glow germ lotion has just been applied. You can see plenty of germs on the hands. Now let's see what happens when this person washes her hands for 5 seconds. You can still see the glow germ. The germs are stuck to her hands. Maybe a little bit has been removed, but after 20 seconds, you can see a significant amount of those very sticky germs removed. Now, often, especially these days, hand sanitizers have become very popular. You walk into any building and you're going to see a hand sanitizer dispenser at the entrance or by the lift, and it's very good to use it. But which is better? Washing your hands with soap and water or with a hand sanitizer? Well, in this experiment, after using the hand sanitizer, you can still see some germs stuck to the hands. Now, these germs may be killed by the hand sanitizer, but they haven't been removed by hand washing. And sometimes the dead germs can serve as food for other germs. And sometimes the dirt that is not removed because of hand sanitizer can help the germs to hide. The germs hide in the dirt, and the dirt protects the germs from getting touched by the hand sanitizer. So most experts would agree that if you have good water access and good soap, you should wash your hands with soap and water. But if you can't, if you're out and about, always good to use a hand sanitizer. Okay, now just another example here, which is maybe a little bit easier to understand. There was a very interesting experiment done with bread. Bread is good food for us. It's very tasty, but it's also a good way of feeding germs. Now, the experiment that was done, I think in a classroom, was just touching bread with bare hands that have been either not washed or washed in different ways, with water or alcohol. And then they let the germs, any germs that was transferred from the hands, to grow on the bread. So here's fresh and untouched bread. And here, for mommies and daddies who use computers, working from home a lot, you might be using a special device called a Chromebook. Remember to clean your Chromebook, because when the bread was wiped onto the laptop, all this gross fungus grew. So that's a reminder, electronics are not often clean. Good to take a little isopropyl alcohol and clean it down once in a while. Okay, unwashed hands. Grasp the bread in it, and you can see all these multicolored fungus and germs growing on the bread. Obviously very gross. Good reminder, make sure you wash your hands. Soap and water is fantastic. The bread is almost untouched. It's so clean that you could almost eat it right out of the bag. Okay, maybe there's a little weird stuff growing in the center, but otherwise pretty good. Now let's look at alcohol, hand sanitizer. There's still a little bit of germs left. I wouldn't want to eat that bread, would you? Important to see, right? So soap and water, almost as good as a fresh and untouched piece of bread. So wash your hands with soap and water. Now, some people might say, well, okay, let's say I want to save water. Want to save the planet. It's good to save water. Should we then use running water, or should we just have a little basin of standing water, and anyone who wants to wash their hands can just use this basin? That's better than nothing. But after a few people have used that bucket of water, you can imagine that there will be some dirt in it, some germs growing in it. So the next person who comes in, when they wash their hands, instead of removing the dirt, they might be adding dirt and germs to their hands. Water eventually can be a good breeding playground for germs. So it's good to use running water, because as the water runs, it removes the germs along with the soap on your hands, and so your hands are going to be cleaner. By the same token, do we need to rub our hands? Now, if you've been waiting in line at a toilet and you've watched people come out of the toilet and wash their hands, sometimes you'll see people walk up to the sink, run their hands under the water, just let it stand there, flick their hands, and walk away. Is that good enough? Well, the science still shows that if you rub your hands under the water, even if you don't use soap, you're going to remove more germs than just putting your hands under the water, okay? The friction from rubbing your hands will help to remove germs. Obviously, it's even better if you're rubbing your hands with soap under running water. So that's the best option. And that's why the Manila Water Foundation always recommends that we practice the 7 steps to hand washing. The first step, which I'll help to show you on camera here, is after you've applied the soap and wet your hands a little bit, rub the palms of your hands together. The second step is put one hand on top of the other and rub the back and interlace the fingers so that you're getting between the fingers. Otherwise, the fingers are very neglected and lonely. Then you do the same thing face to face. Again, you rub. Next thing, the backs of your fingers, which can be very, very dirty and neglected as well. You rub them together like this, curl them into two little C's, rub them together. Then remember the thumbs. The thumbs are what make us human. Opposable thumbs, very important to take care of them. Wash both opposable thumbs. Finally, the fingernails. Again, a lot of germs can get trapped under our fingernails. Make a little birdie, that's what I tell my sons, and then rub it in the soap like this, and do both hands. And lastly, wash the wrists as well. The wrists are often the most neglected part of hand washing. People often forget the wrists. And then run it all under running water until it's been lathered. The lather has been rinsed off. All right. So that's it, a brief little tour on the importance of hand washing and how to wash your hands. I hope you found that useful.